The White Tiger Night Channel. Responsibilities for open carry and concealed carry and permitting and law issues. This is the White Tiger Night Channel, and this is my VR response for basically talking about states and talking about carry permits and stuff for certain states. This is the White Tiger Night, and you're talking about carrying. This is mainly for the Armory channel because I noticed that you had something up asking for responses, so I figured I would respond and let you know how it is. I'm not going to specifically say actually necessarily where my state is because I actually don't want people to know where I'm from or where I actually am at or who I am. I believe in anonymity, so if I can keep it that way. But basically, I guess the state is, many states are much more strict than your state, and many do have classes. But I think you shouldn't be such a defeatist, and I think you shouldn't be so afraid of actually talking about these issues because, I think you should be protected under the First Amendment, and obviously I think you should also be protected under the Second Amendment. So, I think you should believe more in the Constitution, even though it's in shambles right now. Basically, under the First Amendment, you should have the freedom of speech to say what it is that you want to say without persecution. And granted, you shouldn't, I don't think, promote violence. And I don't think anyone should promote violence. And I don't want to promote violence, but, you should be able to, happily state your opinion without having any problems, without having any fear, really. I think that's the most important thing. And I think the most important thing about the Second Amendment is that you know that you can protect yourself without having any fear. Sit in a situation that you can protect yourself, and that's really the main reason and issue for it, I think, in my opinion. And that being said, I feel that you mentioned the fact that you think people should have experience. Obviously, that's 100% true, and people could slip through the cracks. But I believe that you shouldn't have to have a permit to carry. I think that possibly, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that you have a concealed carry permit, the fact that you're concealing your weapon and you're taking it places. I guess I would agree in some circumstances to some kind of permit for that, but I don't think they should be registering you and chronicling you and taking your pictures and your fingerprints and everything else just to get a permit to carry a gun to protect yourself under the Second Amendment. You should be allowed. And that mainly covers open carry, and I would actually rather conceal carry, so I have my permit in that case. But I want to tell a quick story. Hopefully this isn't super long. You mentioned, getting kind of frightened when you're near the police. Well, I have an interesting story about that, and hopefully this doesn't make me as well, but I'll just kind of be a little vague here. But I did end up at one point getting pulled over by the police and getting questioned and taken out of my car. And they attempted to search my car, basically unlawful search and seizure, but technically when you step out of the car, you're opening the door and you're allowing them to search your car. So, willingly, at that point, when they ask you to get out of your car and you say that you will, you're willingly at that point opening your car for them to search it. So I didn't necessarily realize that at that point. When he was questioning me, I actually pled the Fifth, and that made him extremely angry. So, the cop came after me even harder at that point, started questioning me, and then another cop came up and started searching my car extensively. And in the back of my car was an empty magazine for a pistol that I had, a concealed carry permit that was registered in my name. But the officer saw the magazine that was clearly empty and flipped out. At that point, they proceeded to put me in handcuffs and put me in the back of the cop car. Not innocent until proven guilty, guilty until proven innocent, basically. And I was put in the back of my cop car. The cop basically accused me of having a stolen gun, even though I told him it was registered in my name. I told him I had a concealed permit. He said, "You better hope you had a concealed permit, and you better hope this is in your name, otherwise you're going down." Again, I pled the Fifth, so he was pissed at me for that point. So he put me in the back of the car. He asked where the gun was. He demanded that, he find the gun. And it was actually locked in my glove compartment, which is, double, well within the law. of most any, I think, state, but definitely my state. And so I had to give him the key. He unlocked the glove compartment, took my gun, and left it in storage for over a year. And when I went to court, it wasn't even in the police report or the court report, but I couldn't get it until I had to go through court and get everything resolved before I could get my gun back. And I paid a lot of money for that gun, and they left it in storage, with no oil or anything, just left on the shelf, opened up with a little zip tie in it, and I couldn't go back and get it for over a year. And I eventually went back to the cops and got my freaking gun back, and they gave me everything back, including the clip and all the rounds that were locked in the glove compartment, and the extra round, that magazine that was empty. And that's my experience. Even with a permit, carry permit, and I was, the charges were dropped eventually, and I went through court and got everything resolved, but it took over a year to get a gun back. That was my personal property that they took from me that had nothing to do with the case and any of the proceedings, just the fact that I had a gun, and, gave them just cause to put me in handcuffs and throw me in the back of the car, take my property for over a year that was worth, over $600, and basically, luckily I finally got it back, and now I still have it and use it. So I think it's cool. I think it's all right in the end, but it's pretty messed up, and you do kind of got to be careful in circumstances, and cops can abuse their power in many ways. Again, I'm not preaching anything about violence or anything, but I'm just saying that I had a bad experience, and I did get taken advantage of even with a carry permit, and the gun registered in my name. So registration and permitting is actually, in my opinion, illegal search and seizure, and not necessary under the Second Amendment. You should be able to have a gun. You should be able to protect yourself at all instances, in any way, shape, or form, at any moment in your life, with none of this. Just because you have the right, not the obligation, not there saying you can. You have the right to bear arms and protect yourself. So, it's fundamental. So, don't be so defeatist, and, fight for the rights of people. I understand the concept that some people can't understand and can't actually wield guns, but most of those people get these guns illegally, and through means that are actually preventable, especially by responsible gun owners. So, I think if you have a gun, for example, and you're responsible with it, and you make sure that, say kids or anyone else can't get a hold of it, then I think you can actually eliminate the threat there, and other people, gang people and other people that use guns for negative means typically get them in illegal ways, or they're stolen from others. So, again, it's not necessarily the responsible gun owner's fault, and whenever they pass legislation and other things and issues to register people and keep them under lock and key, it mainly only affects the responsible gun owners, and it doesn't really necessarily affect the criminals at all. So that's my response. See what you think. That's the White Tiger Knight signing out. Protect the Constitution and defend yourself every day.